more information you have, the better the decisions. Data is crucial to do important decisions in Dota games and even before the Dota game in preparation. It's really cool that a big company like SAP is investing into esports, and that I can be a part of it is amazing.
The first series of the day definitely did not go the way that we expected, not at all. We talked about it a little bit with Gods and Black, but now we have Nahaz and Lacoste here. And I want to talk about Liquid a little bit more. We already talked plenty about Shadow. We actually got an interview with him as well, and we started to hear how he actually communicated with his team. Doesn't have that much to actually be that he can understand, right? So it's simple words they're going through with Shadow. What do you think of that? Is that communication going to be an issue throughout the day?
I actually expected Liquid to look a lot better than they did. I expected Liquid at this tournament to look a little bit like Secret with CTY standing in, where initially their first few series would look real good and they would hit a little bit of a wall later in the tournament against the other Tier 1 teams. But
chat wheels.
Yeah, exactly. They had the chat wheels.
This is kind of what the other analysts were saying as well, right? They were, besides the chat wheels, they basically were saying, hey, look, once they get to the higher tier teams, even the likes of somebody like VG, it's going to be a problem. But they expected for Pango for it to be an easier series. What do you think Liquid's going to be running into when they go up against VG?
I wouldn't underestimate Pango. They were playing really well, so we had a team with the standing against a team with another standing, and I would definitely call Zayats the best team from Pango.
Easily.
So it's going to be maybe a bit harder, but definitely Pango looking strong, and I think that snowball in the third game, it could have gone differently. So Pango could have actually won this game.
Yeah, I think there were a few moments where maybe Pango was counted out by some of the analysts here, and maybe that's not something that we should be doing because they still have a very good chance to make a run, maybe even get a rematch, Nahaz.
Yeah, I think that everybody complains about rematches with GSL, and I agree with a lot of those criticisms. I would not mind seeing another couple of games between Liquid and Pango because we all talk about, I think, Zayats as by far the best player on that Pango squad, but I thought Ghostic looked badass, especially on that Tidehunter. He's done that build with the Deso around the new reworked Anchor Smash. I've even seen him go Solar Crust on top of that in a couple of games, and he looked great in that last game.
Yeah, we saw some great itemization in this third game, particularly with the Crimson Guards, Vlads, as you mentioned, on Tide as well. These Lotus Orbs that saved the game. Also, Medusa. I think I'm gonna actually pick on Medusa because of that Manta style. I don't know what's the obsession with the Manta style lately on Medusa. Someone just started a new trend and everyone just copies it.
No, it's not. No, it's not a thing. Like when you look at how the math works with Yasha and Kaya on that hero and the interaction with Mana
That's why
Shield,
you're here. Explain to the plebs.
You can't, no, so that
explain.
It's been a long time, right? But because of the way that Mana Shield is applied, the order in which Mana Shield damage reduction is applied, it ends up reducing damage extremely effectively when it's interacting with other sources of damage amplification. So for example, a lot of people used to buy Mask of Madness on Medusa because you'd be taking more damage in theory, but Mana Shield was applied in such an order that the effective damage reduction was huge. With Yasha, right, when you get that added efficiency, that added mana efficiency, you're up to like effectively between 71 and 74% damage resistance on your Mana Shield. It's crazy.
Why would the players be doing it then? I mean, you kind of said maybe it's a trend, but at the same time, we kind of expect them, even if it's a new patch or not, to be figuring things out.
There are players who are kind of stuck in the loop and they just copy what other pro players are doing. We see that more in Tier 2 scene, so if Miracle is doing it, it must be great. But there are other players who think outside of the box and just try new things. And as Nahaz said, we can't really argue with Matt.
Definitely can't argue with math. You can't fight numbers with words. But
Kyle can, but
I mean,
Kyle can argue with
just
anything.
a very special young man. We can't really argue with that one as well.
I feel like that's probably the biggest compliment that you could give to Kyle. But now when we look forward and we start talking a little bit more about what we expect from Liquid, right? We got to watch on this stream. We already got to see a lot of what Liquid can do. The question is, are they going to be able to take down VG here? Then they won't have to go for that rematch. They know that they'll be going to the upper portion of the bracket, as you can see right here as we take a look at Group C. On this stream, we haven't gotten to see VG, and it seems to be the top pick from our other analysts to make it out of this group. Nahaz, do you feel that strength as well?
Absolutely. I mean, VG they've been a really, really good team for over a year now. I think their lineup has incredible. Anytime you can build a lineup around Paparazzi, I mean, he was the first in the world, almost the first in the world to 10K MMR in China, which is by far the hardest reason I think to get MMR in. Ori is a guy that Vici Gaming bought an entire organization to get Ori. He's a guy that's very volatile to my eyes, but he's looked really good. I believe he was 24, 2, and 19 combined in his first couple of games on Dazzle and Kunkka. Vici has had a lot more hero variety recently. If you go back, their first two series here, I believe their last 6 matches that they played in DPL leading up to this event, they've picked 13 different heroes first phase in their last 8 matches. So 13 out of possible 16. They've shown Jakiro first phase, a lot of variety, and this is against a team that the knock on them last year was that they would get into the later phases of the tournament and they would run out of ideas. So I think that's promising as far as Vici goes.
Yeah, well, Vici can look both hot and cold at the same time. I would say Yang, I would compare him to Young 11. Either he's having a great day or not. It really depends how the team is going to do at the end of the day, actually.
Well, this is one of the few teams inside of the group that's actually at full strength, right? I mean, when you look at Liquid and Pango, we already brought that up. But let's also look at that matchup because that's the best thing that we have to go off of with Liquid. With how they played against Pango, we're saying we don't know which way a rematch would go. Do you think that they've done enough? Do you think that they've shown enough to take down the likes of Vici?
Look, it's Liquid, okay? Liquid is still, at this point in the season, assuming that they get their full strength, Liquid is still going to be my pick for TI this year. Again, real early to talk about that. Yeah. But certainly, at least in the first 3 games that we saw, Shadow doesn't look like he's stepping seamlessly into that core position like CTY did with Secret. Some of the historic strength picks for Liquid, like the GH Coddle, didn't look quite as impressive. It's a very different hero now, very cooldown reliant. So Liquid still definitely has some questions to answer, but we know what their ceiling is. As recently as the KO Major, they came into the final there looking like the favorite. Of course, VP was able to take them down.
Well, looking in the scope of this tournament too, you bring up Shadow, which we've talked about a lot, but how do you think they need to play with Shadow? Because the other analysts brought it up time and time again. They were saying it kind of seemed like they were trying to draft around having Shadow in a position where they didn't need to worry about where he was nearly as much. And that didn't seem to work. What do you want to see? How do you want to see them interact with Shadow?
It's hard to fault them, though, for what they did in the draft. I mean, when they're putting him on heroes like the Juggernaut, like the Medusa in stable laning situations, and he's still not getting that mid-game farm acceleration, and that's concerning. I don't know that there's a magic drafting formula. I just think you need to execute. You know, Gods pointed out early on in one of the games, for example, that Kuro wasted a lot of early game time on his Sven, and that makes the laning phase harder for everybody. So it's little execution errors that need to be cleaned up, I think, more than necessarily the drafting.
Lacoste, what do you want to see?
Yeah, they could also try to go for 1-1-3 in the laning stage, just give him a 1-versus-1 matchup. That could work because it's maybe hard to communicate in terms of telling him who's going to rotate, who's going to cast a couple of first spells, especially if you don't have this chemistry together since they haven't played. Sometimes when you're playing pro, you don't actually need to communicate. You just feel what others are going to do. Like when I was playing pro, there were a couple of players that I played amazing with because you just do and you know what they're going to do exactly, so you don't have to say a thing. But with the Shadow, I'm pretty sure his English is limited, unlike Fates Beyond. Fate Beyond speaks
That's really true as far as I know. That is true.
From the interview that we saw, we said the communication that he's mostly getting is top, bottom, mid, and he's hearing go, 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 back, back, back. So that's really where a lot of the limitations are going to be. And VG right now, 2-0 to start off the day when they actually did play against J-Storm, and now are they the team to take full advantage of any weakness that Team Liquid is going to be showing?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely Team Liquid is crippled here. They're missing, I would say, their best player. That's their star player as well, Miracle. So it's going to be tougher for them, but I didn't see too much out of Vici Gaming. They played DPL and they played this qualifier before that. I don't remember seeing them in a big tournament.
No, but it's interesting though because they have a lot in common. If you look at some of those stats from the regional matchups, the regional league play, they have a lot in common with EOM. They've played a ton of reps, a ton of officials on these new patches, and they've shown a lot of variety. And again, for a team that looked like it stagnated in its drafting, particularly against the top tier opponents last year, I like what that kind of bodes going into this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like maybe if you were just watching this stream so far, you don't see as much from VG. You talk about the rest of the year, maybe you don't get to see as much from VG. And lucky for us, we're going to be able to get a deeper look right now and actually talk to the members of VG.
Hello everyone, we're at the Chongqing Major. I'm joined by Fade from Vici Gaming. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, hello, 我是 VG 的 Fade。
How do you feel about the major being in China? What's your first reaction to it?
第一感觉就是觉得还可以吧，因为在家门口打比赛嘛，不用再飞那么远了，我觉得还不错，至少是在家里面。
You guys won the DPL recently, is that right? Yeah. So what was that tournament like?
就因为 DPL 没有什么特别厉害的对手嘛，我们最后也只是3-0 一后嘛，其实比较因为 LGD 弃赛了，所以对我们而言比较轻松吧。
Did you watch the minor? What did you think of eHome during the minor?
一后表现还可以吧，主要是曼联队都不怎么厉害，只有 Gambit 让我的印象比较深刻。我觉得 Gambit 算是比较厉害的，其他队其实都挺一般的。
When there is a minor and there's a Chinese team, do you always support the Chinese team no matter what the team, or do you just support your favorite team?
不一定吧，就像我，其实我不怎么支持队伍，我只是支持一些选手。比如说像大爹、像Notier这样的选手 ，GH， 我不怎么支持队伍，其实我只是支持个人选手而已。
Why are they your favorite players?
我觉得一个是游戏里的水平吧，一个是他们平时生活里的态度和性格吧。因为我跟他们其实也聊过挺多的，然后 GH 就是属于非常乐观的人，就差不多是这样吧。
That's cool. So, did you watch the True Sight episode? Yeah. What did you think about Notel in the True Sight episode?
Notier 其实印象比较深刻的不是 Notier， 是那个 Save 是吧？能念 Save 吗？Save really good.
Can you tell me why you liked Seb in True Sight?
他就是团队的时候比较劣势的时候，他都会说啊，你需要就是我能赢，稳住，我可以带你们 carry 你们，然后你们只需要专注游戏就可以了 ，focus 是吧
？So in your team, who is Seb?
Yang.
Okay, tell me why. What does he do to make you guys feel good?
比较那种，因为杨是就是非常乐观的人嘛，就是不管是劣势还是优势，他其实都很乐观，他都会说，哎，这波还能打，没事，别急，就是类似说这样的话，所以他对我们团队基本上就像 save。
How have you guys been preparing for the Chongqing Major? What have you been? Where have you been? Who have you been practicing? How have scrims been going?
有吧，因为平时我们这次算是比较认真的集训吧，就是大家待一起有大概2个礼拜左右，就什么都不许玩，就只许训练啊，每天都很刻苦吧。我们对这次其实准备挺多的，因为希望这次能拿好成绩。
In some countries, there are big teams that don't want to practice with other big teams in case they learn some secret or some strats. What is it like in China? Does everyone play with everyone, or is it you have to play with bigger teams and smaller teams? What's it like?
我觉得这个现象在我们中国不多见嘛，因为像对我们队而言，我们就更渴望可以和 LGD 这样的队交手，或者阿斯塔那样子，因为我觉得我们和其他队练其实没有太大作用，而且反而是帮他们练。你跟他们练再多，你自己也学不到什么东西，因为你可以赢得很轻松。只有和老干爹对抗的时候，你会觉得有压力，你会打得很兴奋，你会很投入这样子。
What about you guys? How are you doing in the China scrims and Chinese scene at the moment?
其实我们训练还挺不错的，一直在赢。但是我们只是觉得训练只是训练，比赛和比赛不太一样，我们还需要在比赛里发挥得更好吧。
If there was one team you really wanted to beat at this tournament, which team would it be?
如果奇迹哥来的话，应该是李逵吧。但是这次没有奇迹哥李逵，那应该是 Secret。
Why Secret?
因为他们应该还是现在世界上水平最高的队吧。我觉得我们想要变厉害，我们就必须击败他们。
Okay, last question. Where do you think VG will do in this tournament?
发挥最好吧。其实我们可能会比较像前4或前3那样吧，但是我还希望我们自己可以发挥我们自己，一步一步往下走吧。
Any message to the VG fans?
谢谢大家一直支持我们 VG 的粉丝吧。然后我希望我们这次重庆比赛可以打得更好，然后不辜负大家期望吧。
Okay, thank you, Fade.
Thank you.
A lot of information in that interview, but also one of the nice things about it, we keep talking about how Liquid maybe not going to have the synergy of having their full squad. We actually get to hear about a team that does have that, that's been able to build on that, and you're hearing about how the team actually interacts with each other. We'll have to see if that chemistry is going to be enough. We've already talked about it quite a bit, and we're about to jump into the draft, into the pick and ban phase right now. I'm curious to see which way this actually does go, Naz.
Quick shout out, by the way, to Mally. We had one of our interviewers. Their flight got delayed. He was not supposed to be the one interviewing the Chinese players. Yeah. So he went in, as you see a lot of those interviews, he went in with basically no questions, and I think did a great job.
He's been doing a fantastic job, and he's been doing like 1 million interviews a day too, right? He's doing the interviews as soon as we actually see a series over. He's doing the pre-interviews. He's doing the interviews with all the Chinese players. Mally is definitely working very hard, and it's paying off.
Yeah, unlike us, Mally doing his job properly, but we're still getting paid though.
Yeah, we're hanging out.
Wow.
No, I like
self-flame though. I like that.
I like
it's
the
nice
point.
to see you here for a series.
I like the point that he said about Yang being the guy that motivates the team. Every team needs a Seb, even though if it's a budget Seb with like these budget motivational speeches, just win. It doesn't have to be anything big, just to keep the positive energy up.
It's important.
Absolutely.
It's really important, even on the desk sometimes.
And especially if you look at
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, if you get that from your offlane position, I think that's so huge. Like the way that mind control can shot call. We saw that on full display standing in at the KL Major. Anytime you can get that kind of leadership from your offlane position, who just sort of is naturally the glue guy in Dota, I think that's big for your team.
Definitely. And once again, it was great to actually hear it from the players. And we've been getting so much information from these interviews. One of the other big pieces of information that we actually did get was the fact how Shadow is communicating with his squad. So I kind of want to see some more of these interviews as we do progress as well and start to hear how everything is coming along with them in the tournament, because we're almost done with groups already. We're very close. We're about halfway through this day, and this is the last day of group play. Once we figure out everything going on with Group C, we're pretty much ready to rock and roll with our bracket. And so far, Nahaz, is anything jumping off the page to you with matchups for the bracket? Do you see potential for anything crazy yet?
I don't think there's been anything too terribly surprising yet. Obviously, the Liquid Pango series was not nearly as straightforward as we thought, but yesterday was pretty chalky. Yep. I know to use a sports ball term. I thought Forward might do a bit better. I thought Chaos might show a bit better. The former Pain Gaming squad might show a bit better than they have. But again, they're very tough groups, and I think each of the groups has two really, really good teams.
Each group's kind of had almost like a sacrificial lamb too, is something that we've seen. Like that one team that just instantly is getting
just a punching bag. Most of the time, it's a team from South America, but we now have a DC. They're 2-0, right? They went 2-0 in the first series, and did they lose all the games yesterday?
I think everybody won it. Thunder Predator won a game yesterday, which that was the team that going into the tournament that everybody thought was kind of going to go winless.
But they are doing better. The SA region develops a lot, especially with other people coming in, so they are becoming stronger.
I will maintain. I think you get better coaching in that region, and I think there's a lot of potential. They're good players in there.
Oh yeah, I remember talk I had with Tavo like 6 months ago, where they actually said that there's no good coach. They would get the coach, but no one wants to come and live in South America. It would really benefit the South American scene.
Because that kid in particular is a special player. I've been a fan of Tavo since he lit the world on fire at the Kiev Major against Secret, and nearly then pulled off the upset against EG in the next series. I think that guy is really good.
I do want to bring up some of the teams like Forward, right? Because they're obviously not in great places, but they still do have a shot to move forward. No, so is that one of the main teams that you're looking for?
I think it's mostly, when you talk about Forward, I think it's that they were a game up on LGD yesterday and then had a second game where I think if Universe had gone BKB earlier on a Batrider, they could have 2-0'd LGD. And it's more, this is a team that obviously they replaced Snaking, but it's 4 out of 5 players that finished top 8 at TI. And that's the thing. You look at these teams that have had the good results and are looking to take that next step.
And the thing is this one of the teams that you expect to go on that? It's almost a miracle run. It needs to be almost a miracle run, but a run through the lower portion of the bracket and maybe shake stuff up.
Oh, it's going to be tough in lower bracket, definitely. Forward Gaming, not the best results lately. You have Universe, who's been like the best off-laner for a couple of years, but he's...
but it's been a couple of years,
yeah,
right?
but it's been a couple of years, so he's kind of struggling right now. Maybe it's the team as well. He was always the guy you can rely on, no matter what. He's the guy. Like, he's gonna do his best. He never chokes. He never throws. But
this is my first time actually getting to cover the best of ones. I feel like it's just going to be an absolute
best of ones in Dota are always they're crazy. There's a reason that look, there are some things that are very fun about them, but there's a reason for at the end of the day, all of the players and most of the talent really dislike them because you just don't get to see the teams unfold.
Just win. That's it. It doesn't get more simple than that. There we go.
Now, how are these guys going to be trying to win? We're going to be jumping into the picks and the bans here, as you can see on the lower portion of your screen.
Liquid has done their homework. Centaur is not a hero that you would first phase ban against other teams, but it is a hero that Vici had been first phasing in quite a few of their regional matchups.
And here we are, just ban the strength heroes, those with the most strength gain in the game. Centaur, Earth Spirit.
Come on, why in the world does Earth Spirit have 3.8 strength gain? Like, that's ridiculous. Anyway.
So we're liking this strategy that's coming out from the bans.
I don't know what's with the Earth Spirit. Like, it makes no sense. That definitely needs to be lowered. He gets a bracer or 2 bracers. The hero had a problem once he went in, use all of his spells, he just dies. Right now, he can go back and reinitiate again.
Now we're going to see that pick coming through as well.
So there you go. And they have run this primarily as a 4-position Magnus on GH, although always a threat to flip back to the 3. You just can't argue with Magnus. He's not. I think for a while he was the undisputed best hero in Dota. I don't know that he's that anymore, but I think he's still top tier easily.
Well, how many times have we seen him first phased already? Just on broadcast, like it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, PA is still in the pool.
And you don't even need PA.
Yeah, Grimstroke, Lich as well. They could also go for Juggernaut if they feel like it. I think they need to give Shadow a hero that is easy to play.
Glad you said Shadow, because that's to me. If you're thinking about how could we make Shadow's life even easier in the farming department, the answer is in power.
I would love to see Team Liquid just picking up OD right now. I don't think he's going to survive the second stage. You're kind of shooting yourself with the early pick on OD, but against the Tidehunter, one of the best heroes against the Tusk as well. You have the save capabilities. You naturally build into 4-staff, not necessarily that often, but against the Tusk, one of the better items, even though Yashakaya is so popular right now.
I've seen some teams do it. I still think first phase OD is a huge risk because OD is a hero that if it doesn't have a good lane matchup,
I mean, they're just going with the simple stuff. They don't want to overcomplicate anything for now.
Is that
PA Magnus? I mean, it's just one of the best combos. Even if it's tier 2 team playing against tier 1 team with PA Magnus, some lucky crits, good RPs, you can easily win the game.
It accelerates PA's farm so much, and she already has this mechanic where she blurs up and she can farm the jungle without being hit. So it skirmishes extremely well. She farms very fast. She's a hard hero to shut down.
Okay, so going for something a little bit safe but proven. So we're liking that. Now when we're looking on the other side of things, when we look at Vici Gaming, what are we kind of looking for? What type of heroes do they need?
Well, they now need magic damage against a PA. Lina is something that has been an Ori specialty in the past, although a lot of teams have gone away from it.
And Kunkka's already banned, one of the better matchups for Kunkka against the Lina.
They have Dazzle, they banned themselves. They had shown the core Dazzle in not only the first game today, but a couple of their regional league games.
I mean, they need to get rid of OD, definitely.
For sure. They're also a big... Vici is one of the last big Jakiro teams. They really like that hero.
I saw eHome picking Jakiro a lot, especially with Faceless Void. I mean, Team Liquid will need something that either builds into Silver Edge or something that gets on top of a Tidehunter that he can't escape with the Kraken Shell. There are not too many options. There's Doom, Enigma, Disruptor.
Do any of those options pull ahead in your mind?
I mean, Disruptor's not really the hero that you want to run. It's kind of
Vici
weak
still runs
laner.
it, but the Western teams have gone away from it, for sure.
It could be a position for Magnus, as you mentioned. GH likes to play it, plays it well, and I think it benefits more when you're playing a position for Magnus instead of a 3, because you just give your PA farming. When you're playing that core, you can't really just run with PA.
And that, man, this is a couple drafts in a row now that we've seen Lich survive until the second phase.
Now, Lich probably has one of the highest win rates.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was 75% at the minor. Yeah, and it has been no drop off in this event. I mean, to me, I asked Kyle this yesterday.
Maybe that's not the right person to ask.
Well, but
I'm new to Dota. I was like, wait, you asked Kyle something?
If 2 of your first 3 picks in a draft right now are Tusk Lich, I probably like your draft. Like it's so easy to draft around that comp.
So we're happy with what's going on then for Vici Gaming. It looks like they have a pretty strong start here. Now, Grimstroke. We've talked about Grimstroke a lot. I mean, as much as we've been talking about Lich and how the win rates that we're seeing with Lich, how do you feel about Grimstroke? We saw Grimstroke
a
little bit earlier today.
This question.
This is probably, I feel like this is the hero we've had a lot of debate with.
My opinion has shifted a lot on Grimstroke. I think the honeymoon period is over for this hero.
Oh yeah, but Grimstroke, I like him, but you need to have some spells that you can throw. Lich, it was probably just a steal pick. Beastmaster still in the pool, one of the better combos as well. Dual Roar. Also, I like to have any kind of a save for a Grimstroke, because if you just get on top of that hero, the hero's dead.
Right.
Like unless he gets some saving item like a Glimmer Cape, but it takes a lot of farm for him to get it.
But that's the other thing, right? That I was going to mention. I'm glad you went that direction, because Liquid has run that Grimstroke as the 5, and I think Grimstroke as 5 is incredibly awkward, because as a 4, at least it can get that item or 2 that it needs to just not completely feed.
All right, so this is one of the problems that I wanted to bring up,
especially Weaver. Oh,
especially when you get that Grimstroke and one of the other supports who don't have any kind of disables, so picking Weaver into something like this seems really good.
Okay. So now, how do we actually see them rounded out? Because the Grimstrokes may be looking a little bit scared at this point.
Give me some Lion, double finger, double hex.
I think you can still. They took Starladder for MC earlier today. I think you can still go that direction here.
They need something with the lower cooldown,
right?
So they can control the Weaver. Yes. They already have a team fight with the Magnus. They could also use something against the Tidehunter. I don't like to have a Tidehunter who can get out of the spells.
Okay, so mostly you say lower cooldown because of the Weaver.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot really once you have a Tidehunter on board. And okay, I almost said that hero, and I backed away because it's really a miracle thing. Matumba plays it as well, and this is a draft that Liquid would run if they were playing with Miracle. I don't know about. I haven't seen a lot of Shadows Monkey King. I'm not sure.
I haven't seen a lot of Shadow.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But Monkey King's already done work a little bit earlier today.
Monkey King though is one of those heroes in this patch that has a really weird split. He's 13 and 24 in games that end before 35 minutes. He's 17 and 8, 35 minutes or after. So he's a hero that as a carry was much more of a mid gamer in previous patches. He's shifted a little bit more toward the late game in this one.
Okay. So with that in mind, being potentially a late game pick, how do you feel about it, Lacoste? Do you like seeing the Monkey King here?
Yeah, Monkey King is fine. I think they just want to have a matchup him against the Tidehunter.
Right.
That's the matchup that they want. And there's the Doom Band. This is the Chinese way of thinking. Even though it's not that of a popular pick, it's still a great counter to Doom, as I mentioned.
Now, before the Monkey King got locked in, you were talking about actually taking into account something with the Weaver.
I don't think Liquid would have picked Doom, though.
I mean, Doom looked really great, especially with the Grimstroke, double Doom.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Lacoste makes a really good point there, that you don't have that like great single target spell as Liquid that you
have
want with
none.
Soulbound.
I mean, you have a dagger. That's
right.
it. We just have to wait for level 20 on PA.
We're kind of all on board with that ban. We like that as we see this pick coming in. Now, does this actually answer the Weaver? Because I know you were saying before the Monkey King got locked in that you were looking for low cooldown. Does that not answer that?
They actually have zero control for this Weaver. No synergy with Grimstroke. They have a good team fight potential with the Monkey King, Magnus, and Darkseer. That's the Wombo combo. But I'm already liking the Vici Gaming's draft.
Yeah,
definitely. I can't believe that OD survived, especially against the Tidehunter.
Well, I kind of thought that they would either ban it or that they would pick something ranged, right? I mean, once you have tri-melee cores, OD's going to get everything he wants in any of those 3 lanes.
I mean, you need to commit RP to kill this OD double save. On side of Vici Gaming, you have Tusk Snowball, you have Astral, Weaver, pretty hard to kill with no lockdown besides silence from Kuroki.
Let me put it to you this way. Even were Miracle at this event, this would be a Vici draft that I would still like. I'm going to pick them in this game.
So I like the draft a lot. You're picking them for this game. I hate to put you on the spot here, but something new that we're doing today, making you predict the entire series. So you think that based off the back of the draft, Vici looks good here. Do you think that they look good for the entire series?
I think Vici wins the series 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. How do you feel about that, Lacoste?
I mean, I can't say it without the draft. I'm just gonna say, I don't know, 2-0 again. I'll say 2-0 for Vici actually.
Okay. Okay, cool. So we got 2 people on board with Vici, and now with this draft, as we heard from Nahaz, Lacoste really does like it on the side of Vici, and you're feeling the same way?
I mean, it's hard to predict. I always judge by the draft. I don't like the big teams, even though if there's a better team playing against the weaker one, I always judge by a draft.
And this draft is.
Can I see the draft for game 2 and then decide? Or?
Nahaz can't, but you can.
All right,
but now we're going to actually jump in and see some of the results. We're going to jump into our first game of the second series of the day.
Thank you so much, Rich, and hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again, myself, Lyrical, and the wonderful Fogged.
Oh, thank
you. Look so beautiful today.
Thanks. I look like I'm a little bit taller than you right now, too, because of the seat. That's the first time for me for anything. But that's
Absolutely. Okay. We do have a game that we're going to hop into right now. I'm really excited for this one. Vici facing off against Liquid. We saw Liquid play earlier today as well. Have a really good showing, and you know, all coming down to this in the upper bracket. And well, the voice chat lines are already starting.
Yeah, I'm getting my options, getting my audio, and
let me just try and mute everybody. How about that?
No, because like the coordinator thing reset all the sound, so my audio was like 100%. I was actually so loud. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. What do we have here? I actually do agree with the panel too. I do like overall what Vici's got going. I think it's pretty hard for them to actually lock down this Weaver. They're pretty limited on the side of Liquid, but the other thing is though, Liquid has this crazy team fight that can come together. This Magnus, this Darkseer, and this Monkey King. They've got like this area that they want to be fighting around when it does get to that point. But yeah, they're definitely gonna be under a little bit of pressure here though with this Weaver and this OD, like they were mentioning. They've got so many different ways of saving too on the side of Vici.
Yeah, it's sort of always a little bit of an interesting dynamic. Like, you want to be able to have those save heroes, but likewise, if they get jumped at the start of the fight, it's just going to be over afterwards. And Monkey King, very much a hero that can make that happen. And something else that we saw earlier coming out from Pango was like the dual sources of initiation. So you've got like Darkseer that can maybe set it up with a vacuum, and then afterwards you follow with that big RP.
Yeah, it's just, we've seen this, like I don't think lately so much, I guess, but in the past we used to see this like Darkseer and Magnus, and people were like, it's kind of redundant because you kind of both are doing a similar concept thing. But lately now, of course, it's Magnus. It's Magnus. You're picking it for the Empower.
Of course.
Right? Like, you've got 2 heroes that can benefit from it pretty heavily on the side of Liquid. So
the RP is the cherry on top, the sundae of pain. Well, we did see 3 bounty runes picked up. Mind control just a little bit quicker on the fingers there. Is going to be taking some punches from Mr. DY. Fade in the trees. And with no surge, no nothing, he might be in a little bit of trouble here.
They might just be able to kill him here. They're waiting for the tag team to get close.
Well, the punches coming in. Does have a TP if he wants to use it. And it looks like they're just going to be able to run him down at least a little bit. And living for the moment, still walking, in some trouble. Is he going to go down?
There's another Lich nuke.
Yeah, I got him.
He's going to go down. We've been seeing that a lot, the Lich having nuke at level 1 is such low cooldown. Pretty high damage, too. It's one of the higher level 1 nukes in the game. Great for chasing. There's a really strong tri-lane coming out here from Vici.
And I like the way that they didn't use the TP yet because he hadn't seen the Frost Blast. They waited until he was at a low enough point where he was going to die regardless.
Yes, exactly. They were just like maximizing. So like the tag team as well, the slow builds up. See my control, he's just like, wow, yep, very strong tri-lane. He's jungling. He's just jungling right now.
All right. Oh,
and they're gonna start going to scout him to see where he's at, get spotted. So Tusk is gonna have to just keep bothering mind control a bit here while he tries to get that catch up going. Well, Tidehunter, he's got a better time versus this tri-lane. This is not a Lich Tusk, two of the strongest support heroes in the game tri-lane. This is a Magnus Grimstroke, which is not nearly as threatening to pose any kills.
Yeah, and it looks like they did manage to block out that hard camp, so right now heading over on GH to try and get the D ward so he can do the full pull through. They just did a single pull there, so Tidehunter should be getting a double wave to that extra bit of experience. As Tusk again set up towards the mid lane. Matumba Man playing it safe, though, on his high ground.
Curious about this matchup, too, the OD versus Monkey King. Doesn't sound too fun for Monkey King. Especially like as soon as you're like level 3 and 4 on OD, I feel like you can just bully Matumba Man very heavily.
Did a little bit of a dodge there as well. Mind control. In some trouble again as they're going to run forward with that haste rune. He does not really stand a chance of getting away from this one. And so another kill going towards Fade.
Yeah, they're going to have quite a bit of trouble for Mind Control to find experience with this Tusk just getting this successful movements constantly.
Yeah. We did mention that Tidehunter is having a little bit of a better time. He's still stuck at level 2, so it's not like it's a free game by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually going to have to go jungle himself also.
Yep, and he does not jungle at the pace of a Darkseer. Mind Control is nearly level 3 already, so once he's got 3, it makes it so much better. Level 1 Iron Shell is still pretty pathetic.
Oh. Again, the Tusk set up in the mid lane as we see Kuro move over and try and mess with Yang a little bit here.
Yeah, he wants level 2 on Fade right now. He's gotten it. So they could set up for Matu here. And they look like they're going to here. Shards are skilled up, tag team as well. They've even got a third hero rotating too.
Lots of punches moving in. Matumba Man will have some mischief to use in just a second to try and stay alive, and able to turn with the Boundless Strike, keeping Matumba Man alive here and seeing if they can bring down Ori, but it's not quite going to happen. Instead, Kuro might also just TP to his death. Liquid losing 2 in the river.
Very solid start. Fade's killing it right now on the Tusk, just from in these first 3 minutes. Just perfect movements, even just a little movement that he did to just scout the Darkseer jungling. It's very crisp by Fade so far. And the cores are farming great. Like we said, you know, the Weaver and the OD are going to have a very good start. The one thing that Liquid does have going for them, of course, is that Shadow is going to be a full free farm PA. And like you said, too, GH, he got that D ward. So as long as he can do his pull-throughs constantly, we'll be seeing him hopefully get some good levels for himself so he can get those empowers online.
Yeah, and that's really the most important part. You see this Tusk moving around, getting so much done. I mean, he does almost have an urn, but it is always going to be that empower that helps those cores get onto the higher level quickly enough. And it's not just the PA, it's the Monkey King here too. So
it's just a difference of heroes, right? Like Tusk is a roamer. Tusk is like, he puts pressure on the lanes, he roams and stuff. Your Magnus is all about the efficiency in the later stages. You get some stacks going, get your power levels, and then you're gonna boost your carry rather than getting him boosted in the early from kills. You get him just from creeps.
You heard it here first. GH boosting everybody.
GH
accounts
boosting
everything, you know? He looks like a nice guy, but really he's just demonic.
I don't think that's so untrue. He's so nice. He's so lovable.
He's just the nicest guy ever.
I have heard him yell at people in pubs.
Usually it's
myself
encouraging
included.
though, right?
It has been, actually.
Yeah.
It has been.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, they're good.
It is going to be the urn finished right now for the Tusk, just about the 4.5 minute mark.
So early.
Well, maybe going to be able to take down Kuro here as they bring over Ori. So the first urn charge.
He doesn't have it yet.
Doesn't have it yet. It's on the courier.
But, I mean, like, again, look at his positioning. He's expecting Kuro to come up, maybe place a ward down so that they can watch and protect Matu, and he just knows. Fade is playing this perfectly.
Dude, he's owning.
Yep. Now an urn. I mean, so early, right? It's 5 minutes in. He's got boots, his urn. And they're looking to try to guarantee themselves some bounty runes. Probably 2 for 2 here. Mind Control trying to get one. He actually does take it.
Nice. The
Might pay with his life, though.
Not going to happen here. And it looks like, yeah, Fade moves into position, find themselves the kill. It's a lot of action moving forward as Matumba Man trying to turn now onto more of the shards, not able to block off that Monkey King. And so it looks like Fade might finally pay with his life if Matumba Man get one last punch on him here. Although he's able to outpace him now. He gets the kill. Final tally ends up being a couple for 1, it looks like. The Grimstroke went down.
I like that move by Matu. I think this is a clear kind of thing you have to do as a mid laner when you can't lane. So versus these ODs, you die once, you fall behind a little bit. You have to make the move. And because of that, Matu's level 6. The OD, it's only level like 5 and almost level 6 pretty much, but he's got a little bit of a boosted advantage now from that kill that he got. And he's pretty much same net worth as the OD too, because of it.
Well, in the mid lane, Fade gonna break his smoke as Kuro made the rotation over. Level 6 on this Monkey King, and Fade thinking about going on him. They have the Astral Imprisonment already there, but Kuro is in the area. Can he keep these guys alive as the Inkswell is gonna come out? Matumba Man brought down very low, but there's the Sinister Gaze, and with the Snowball, they might have enough to take down Matumba Man. They do find that kill, and Ori barely able to walk away from this. Get that Urn Charge heal up. They do lose DY, but now going back in for another round with the Urn Charge going. Is Fade really going to be this? They drop the Sanity's Eclipse. Kuro trying to walk away, and they don't quite have enough. A good silence coming out as Kuro got level 3.
Damn, that was close. He almost got the Astral save onto Fade there, too. If he had actually gotten the, man, that stinks. He thought he could get the save, right? He used it on a creep. If he had actually used the Astral on one of the heroes, he would have gotten himself at least one of the kills on the OD, but Liquid with heavy responses trying to protect that mid lane, and the mid lane looks like it's where a lot of the action is going to be with the wards as Yang steps a bit too far up.
You know, the panel talked about the Monkey King versus Tide. It still works even if they're not necessarily laning against each other.
Yeah.
Just a strong answer. It looks like Tumba comes back mid, gets his farm on. Do you feel like either team is a little bit more happy with the way that this game is going? It feels very chaotic so far.
I think both teams are pretty satisfied because Paparazzi's free farming, Shadow's free farming, Matu's probably pretty happy because he's like, oh my god, I'm versus OD and he's getting these trade kills.
Yeah.
I think Vici would have probably wanted to be a little bit, wanted to get a little bit more kills without giving up so many with the, you know, very successful rotations from Fade, as every single time he shows up, it does seem like it's a kill.
Yeah, every time. Move in there. Paparazzi's the one that picks up that kill. And like you said, the trades make a pretty big difference, particularly when the lane matchups start breaking down. So like right now, Monkey King only 3,000 gold behind the OD, even though in CS terms, he's really far behind.
Oh, 300. Oh, you said 3,000. I was like, whoa.
Definitely not that.
Yeah, he's caught up. He's caught up pretty well, even though he's missing what, like 15 last hits on the OD.
So 8 minutes in, 9-5, as this movement comes in from DY and Fade, seeing if they can catch Mind Control out again. Only level 4 on the Starkseer.
I just saw that, yeah. I clicked on the Tide. I'm like, wait, how? Oh, Tide's almost 6. Darkseer's, oof, Mind Control really struggling.
Yeah, and he knows that he's in a little bit of trouble here. Moving in, trying to find. They throw out the bugs. That scouts out the cone-headed man, and he is going to fall.
Ooh, man, I really like. I mean, Tag Team already is one of the most amazing spells in the game, but throw a Geminate attack on it.
With
really
the bugs?
Strong with the Weaver, with the bugs too. Yeah, it's really, really strong.
We see another one of these cores going for the drums early on the OD this time. Okay. Do you like this item?
I personally, I didn't really think of the item being that great, but I've been seeing a lot of them pick it up. Right, we saw ASD pick it up on the Shadow Fiend yesterday, on the mid laners. So, but looks like it's an item that the pros are starting to value a bit more again.
Yeah. I guess it kind of fits with the like motif of like Vlad's and Crimson Guard, all these like team fighty things. Drums sort of fits there, I guess.
And the endurance is actually pretty damn strong now when I'm like re-looking at it. Like 1200 AoE, 35 attack speed, 13 movement speed. Yeah. Pretty decent.
Wukong's command laid down. They're moving in with Ori here as well. Hit the Boundless Strike onto the Lich. Mind Control moves in, wants to find that kill. Not quite going to get it. Already they've lost the Grimstroke, and Mind Control yet again going to hit the deck. This Darkseer has had a rough game so far, 0-6.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Panel was saying, right? Like this early game, this for Vici looks very strong. Like Liquid's gonna have to do very similar to what they did earlier versus the Pango. Just have this game stall out for this Magnus, this Empower to start kicking in with the Monkey King and the PA. Vici's looking very, very, very powerful in this early start. First 15 minutes or so, they should be able to keep the pressure on.
Oh, they found GH. Snowball pulls in a little bit closer. They're going to get blocked off here by the shards afterwards. Sanity's Eclipse going to drop Matumba Man in some trouble, but with the Boundless Strike, he's able to turn it back around, and the Banishment to walk away. Yang is wrapping around from the other side. The Ravage hits right as he comes out of the Sanity's Eclipse, and they are going to be able to find that pullback onto Mind Control as well. Looks like that's going to be the end of it, but big win there for Vici.
That was odd. I think he thought that the Astral wouldn't actually kill him, but the Astral damage actually killed the Monkey King. Just like right at the tip of the end of it. Ends up getting a kill on the Grimstroke at least, but
Unreal.
I mean, at least he's involved and he's getting farm and levels, right? Like, you see this Tide, 3,600 net worth. So Vlad's level 8. We're going to glance at my control here. Level 6, bottom 2 net worth. Having a very, very tough time in the Dark Seer.
Yeah, it's not been great. And, I mean, he does have some of the capabilities to catch back up. And, you know, you can't argue that he can help out in team fights later, but no points in vacuum right now. It's going to be a long time.
Yep. They're going to need to build, yeah, like we were saying, they need to buy time. They've already lost all their tier 1. Well, soon, the top one's going to start getting pressured now, too, from Paparazzi. So their map control, they've got to be careful of these deep wards that are going to be placed out from Vici.
Yeah.
It looks like it's just the Shreds Vlad into Deso on Shadow since he's got the Empower, so.
So we have seen a lot of like these comebacks happen recently in Dota, it feels like. To you, what do you need to do right now if you're Vici to sort of clamp down on this game and control that slight lead that they've been able to build?
I think right now it's okay. Like, they just use Ravage and they use Sanity, so they're like, all right, let's not make any like big thing happen, but just keep their farm going, distribute your resources, and just keep the pressure at least on the towers, like Paparazzi's doing right now. So they have like 1 or 2 people kind of sitting behind him, but get towers, get wards in the enemy jungle, and keep tabs on this PA. Because you know PA is going to be jungling with Empower, so.
Yeah.
So having like 1 ward in each jungle, I think, would be really ideal for Vici. Like, even putting 1 in their own jungle at one point could be pretty nice.
Yeah.
But right now they're prioritizing just going for this tier 2 Sour as their ultis are coming up soon. And they've got a full Blink Dagger on Ori too. He's very strong. So ult's coming back up. Now they're going to start looking for a fight versus Liquid. They don't want Liquid to just split up and do their efficient game that we see Liquid do quite a bit.
Yeah. And maybe speaking to why you go for those like early drums, have the Vlad stun on that Tide Hunter, all these items that allow them to keep the pressure on. Could think about going towards Rosh in the next little bit maybe with the Weaver bugs, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
I mean, they've got what? They've got Gush too, so they've got that. They've got the bugs plus the Vlads plus tag team.
Yeah.
It's probably not too bad. And like you're saying, the Dark Seer's still very underleveled, so the fighting should be pretty difficult. And yeah, they're going to do it with those 3 heroes. So, gonna watch show the OD in 1 lane for a moment. Maybe try to have the Lich just die while they do this.
I mean, even if they do realize that this is going on, it's so hard to fight into a Ravage up right now at 13 minutes.
Yeah, and
it's like no damage.
Level 11 OD, level 10 Weaver as well, with very minimal lockdown like we were mentioning. How's GH doing? He did finish up those Arcanes, but yeah, very far from Blink.
And the Diffusal Monkey.
Oh, is he gonna try to steal?
Oh god, GH. The player, he moves in. Oh, it's too late though. And now RP just gonna TP away.
Oh.
Well, it was a good thought.
He tried. Well, we can't say that he got, I mean, he got what? That was a 4 or 5 man RP, right?
Yeah.
He tried to go for a steal, but yeah, you can see the Liquid's game plan is not take the fight into them right now. They need time. They need to get their build up for this Empower to make them powerful, but Vici doesn't want to give them that time, especially not from the way that they played earlier too. Just it's all about these like these quick paces games.
I mean, it's 13, 14 minutes now, and I don't see a reason why they can't necessarily at least take a little look at high ground if they wanted to.
Yeah, threaten a little bit. Their top lane's in a good spot. It's just the bottom lane that's not.
It looks like they want to try and find some kills first. Cut these heroes out. Don't give up any tier 2 towers for free.
Find this pesky PA who's jungling somewhere.
She is close to a Deso right now.
Yeah, just the Blightstone missing. But I think the big timing for Liquid, if they do want to try to take fights, it's not about like, I mean, the Blink Magnus could be, but I actually really think it's a BKB. Just BKB on the Monkey King, BKB PA as the next 2 items, and then they can look for fights. Without BKBs, fighting into this Vici lineup seems impossible to me. Unless they get a miraculous RP.
Yeah, and they're ways away from it. Matumba Man here might try and cut some creep waves to make sure that the tier 2 doesn't die in the bottom lane. And on the side of Vici, could look for BKBs themselves, maybe. I don't know if it's the most necessary thing in the world, but...
Nah, this game, not for them, right? Like, they have to worry about like the RP and just straight raw physical coming out from PA and Monkey King. It's a lot more magical and more team fight coming out on the side of Vici overall. Before the BKB.
Shadow. He is going to reveal himself on Fade and caught here in one of the side lanes.
Saves the snowball. Yeah.
Very well done as Shadow eventually going to fall. Matumba Man just sort of looking at him here with GH in the area. Now he's also caught a really awkward position where you lose 1 core, bring in a couple more. And do you really want to take this fight here? I think GH is just going to die as well.
Yep.
Matumba Man in the meantime heads off the other direction, but they have a ward up on the high ground. They know where he's at the whole time through, and trying to find him here, it looks like he's going to be able to escape for now.
Ooh, that was scary. Now he knows there's a ward there, though, or at least their team does. Yeah, Vici doing all the right things, though. They're keeping the pressure on. They're not really trying to give Liquid any breathing room. Yeah, they're just trying to keep the lanes pushed out, keep the pressure going. Don't let Liquid stall, because that's Liquid's playstyle. When they pick this Magnus, when they pick this kind of greedy style, they want to stall the game out and farm.
Oh, and Kuro, he's got a bug on him. Get that bug off of you. He's TPing out, but the Sinister Gaze, does he have mana?
He's just short of it.
Oh, DY.
He had the clarity running, too, before he even went for it, but just because he used the Chain Frost on the wave, right? He might have had the Gaze there if he didn't Chain Frost the wave. That happens.
Banishment here. Fade in the area. Mind Control going to be dead yet again, but as you said, all buying time. You know, there's 4 heroes that have respawned. Matumba Man still getting his farm on.
They're trying to buy time, yeah.
It's everything you can do. Just throw it all at them.
Just try to throw bodies to keep lanes pushed out. Just so we've been seeing that a lot, right? Just the random cutting of waves and stuff like that. That's pretty much Liquid's game plan until the later stages. It's about just defending high ground and stalling game. But there's quite a lot of farm going the way of Vici. It's still like only the 4K advantage, but it's pretty significant items. I believe it's like a full Kaya coming out on Courier as well as a Maelstrom. So Kaya for that OD who's getting close to Kaya Yasha.
The Aegis, about a minute left before it gets reclaimed.
Yeah, and they're just, they look like they're kind of playing a buddy system still on Vici though. Like 1 or 2 people sitting behind each other constantly and just looking for little pickoffs, not letting Liquid like show themselves pushing out 3 different lanes.
Yeah.
Just have themselves like 1 or 2 people sitting near all the lanes to catch Liquid when they do play that greedy style. And it's working.
Well, 17.5 minutes. Their bottom lane is pushing in pretty heavily here, although I think the Darkseer just threw a couple of Ion Shells on it.
Yeah, he got 1 down.
Should be taken care of shortly, and then they can pressure for that tier 2 tower in the bot lane as pretty much the rest of Liquid just stuck up in their base.
This is what Vici wants to do, is constrict in this game. Constrict and keep your farm relevant versus Mag PA Monkey King. Because like we said, Liquid, they're not looking to fight. They're looking to stall for the BKBs, and they're starting to get close to the pieces. Matu has the Mithril Hammer, PA has the Ogre Club.
Oh, Mind Control again. Going to be cut off here, it looks like, as Ori's found him. Shadow might need to back away, although it is just the OD. It's a little bit scary. The Aegis is about to wear off, and with that, Vici not quite feeling as confident.
No, Ori was playing very careful there. Whenever you see it, like the ODs, the good ODs, if they use Astral offensively, they'll play pretty defensively, because you want to save your Astral for yourself some of the time, so you can do that like blink out kind of play.
Right.
So Ori playing very careful.
And I mean, this is the thing, right, is that even though the rest of Liquid is not in their base right now, it's still hard to get a lot of damage onto the tower, because Weaver doesn't actually hit the buildings all that hard at this point in the game. So it's not even like you can get a quick jump up and take a tier 3 quickly like with a TB or something.
They know that the only place that Liquid could be right now is in this top left corner of the map.
Smoke breaks. Matumba Man there. Looking for him. Not finding.
Ooh, that tree was close.
Oh,
Yang,
man.
is he going to guess it?
Oh my God, Matumba Man!
Nerves of steel.
Cool as a cucumber. Oh, and they're all going to get out because of that.
Yep.
That is insane.
That's a smoke and a full 5-man rotation coming out from Vici. Liquid able to now get out to the other lanes. So Mind Control immediately runs to mid, throws out an Ion Shell. You see the PA Shadow instantly start rotating to bottom. Yeah, GH cutting a mid wave.
Oh, and now he's looking like he's going to go down.
Yeah.
But that's a TP back for Ori. It's like, I got my Blink Dagger, I don't care. Dead for 30 seconds. As we hit the 20-minute mark, does look like Vici should be able to secure all 4 of the bounty runes. And it is most likely setting up for a second Roche high ground push from Vici, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're under any type of a clock, though? Like, obviously, Mag and PA and Monkey King, they become better, but do they become significantly better than a Tidehunter, a Weaver, an OD?
I mean, crazy late game. The problem is that you just, like, your supports get one-shotted by a dagger or something. I think Vici wants to keep a pretty big advantage or end very early on. You don't want to give this breathing room to Liquid.
Yeah.
Like this next Roche, this Aegis Cheese might just be the one where they want to end the game. They're still in a good spot though. I mean, they've like this big advantage. That's the one thing. If they do get into late game with a big advantage, then sure. But it's just scary playing versus these like Mag PA Monkey Kings. One missed position and.
Even if it's not a clear advantage, it just never feels good when a game kind of gets a little bit out of your control. Because right now they're in complete control.
Yep.
Does look like the PA going for that -3 armor corruption.
Yeah, and it's not like Liquid. It's not like they have like bad team fight by any means. They have Darkseer, who's one of the kings of team fight. Magnus, king of team fight. Like Monkey King 2, king of an area team fight. So they still definitely do have that potential when they get those BKBs.
That's a lot of kings, man.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
I always used to call Darkseer like, what, 2013, 2012 and stuff. I'd always be like, Darkseer king of team fight.
Yeah.
And then he like got nerfed 40 times. So.
Just the level 1 vacuum right now for him too. He's still in catch-up mode. Has been able to hit level 12 though, so 2 points in wall.
Yeah. He's picking up an item too. Like it's not your usual like mech kind of Darkseer. It's like I am all about keeping myself alive so I can just get a spell off.
Yeah, I like the Glimmer Cape. It's cool. 4-man smoke up.
Yeah, it might save him in some situations when he's like split pushing if one of the people who catches him doesn't have reveal, but the one person who does have reveal is DY, and he's very close to my control right now.
Oh, the
they
Iron
see
Shell.
it casted.
Yang, he realizes what's coming. Oh, and mind control. TP out, run away. In the trees, is he going to live?
Glimmer TP.
The Glimmer Cape, save.
They weren't certain. And that gives Liquid the room, right? Immediately when they see a hero, Shadow shows his face in a lane. GH starts hitting some creeps too.
I mean, that was the thing, right, was that this was worth it for Liquid when they were getting kills. Or rather, it was worth it for Liquid when Vici was getting kills. It's more worth it if they're able to get away with it and not lose anybody.
Yep, they start to slowly close the gap with the gold, but still 6K, and Vici's real big timing, like we said. It's that next Roche.
Yeah.
They want to be able to, I mean, they're hoping for this quick timer, and it's a pretty long one. That gives, I mean, that's great for Liquid. Liquid's very happy. Long timer, give them time to get the BKB for them to try to fight.
It is kind of interesting, too. You see, like, oftentimes against the Monkey King, those heroes that break down trees. None of these Vici heroes really do it at all.
No, it's like a snowball if he, like, you know, kind of
lands on the Monkey
like
King.
Flies through it, pretty much, somehow.
It's still a very daunting force from Vici if they can get a team fight where it's all together. We talked about that Kaya Yasha done for the OD. This Tusk who's got the Spirit Vessel done as well as a Blink Dagger.
I think the big item for Ori, yeah, Kaya Yasha, but then this Plate Mail. Like you were saying, like
right.
they don't need these BKBs this game on the side of Vici. They need to just be able to survive the jump of this PA.
Yeah, and OD taking that armor talent at 15 instead of the movement speed. Just
so tanky.
Tank up. Get big.
He has 29 armor on an OD. That's actually so much now.
So 23 minutes. Liquid. Seeing where they're going to go next.
Okay, interesting. I saw that Paparazzi had a MKB queued up earlier. Switched. Okay. I guess he just wants to be a little bit tankier and just this chase potential, like through the BKBs, having the Scotty slow. Because he knows that he 100% knows that these two Liquid cores are going to go for BKB. And oh, this is a fortunate rune.
Oh, yeah.
Roche is spawning in 2 seconds, too. They'll probably be able to scout that one in a second.
I mean, Liquid know that this is coming up. This is that big moment here. 5-man smoke.
Do they have the double BKBs? They sure do, right? Yeah, they have to if they're going to be smoking.
God. And this timing of it all.
Yep.
The time when Vici want to take the fight and
Vici
get that Roche.
Vici now, what they need to do is they need to have this Tide in the front line because, like we always know, Tide versus the Magnus, it's the combo breaker. He needs to be the one that gets caught inside that RP so he can break it, but there's no 2 BKBs on the side of Liquid.
He also bought Blink just recently.
Okay.
Getting up into the Roche pit right now. Tied so close to his level 15. He bought the Tome as well. Wants to get that reduction.
PA can solo it.
Just walking into the pit, down to half HP already. Needs to walk away. The Boundless Strike almost took him down.
That's a BKB from Shadow.
Danger time.
They have to walk away. The fight now is a little bit awkward for Liquid.
Paparazzi's going to go and pick up that other bounty rune as well. And Yang, he's back up to full HP again. They can push them out of this lane right here. And GH going to be caught for the moment by those shards. Paparazzi looking for it. The skewer up to the high ground keeps GH away from death. And they need to wait for that BKB to be back up.
Yep. Man, Yang needs to be so careful, though. As we saw, just even if you're a Tide Hunter, you don't have the most armor. You're sitting at like 11-ish or so. If he got hit by that Boundless Strike from Matu, there was a high chance that he just dies there.
Also,
so DD now?
keeping our eyes on buybacks in this game. They're going to take the bugs off of Matu. 4 heroes nearby the pit, 3 in it. And the smoke up. PA was up in the top lane, so going to be a little bit late to the party here.
They scouted Matu.
Matumbaman, they see him immediately. BKB comes out and he gets off of that tree, does not want to be stunned. The 2-person Boundless Strike walking forward for it. They've caught PA up on the north side of the battle, it looks like, and the Ravage comes out, hits onto only 2, but they do have 1 over here to the side. Shadow pops his BKB. They drop down the wall as well, trying to take down DY, and they will kill him off. Buyback from the mag. Yang just gets eviscerated by Shadow, and just like that, they lose 2 no buybacks.
And the Ravage.
It looks like Kuro is going to go down. And Matumbaman might be the next one to be able to claim another life as Fade is brought down as well. And they're going to buy back immediately. They still want to contest for this. Roche is at such low HP, but when they drop that Wukong's command, you can't fight. And Aegis goes into the hands of Shadow.
And yep. It's just that scary moment, right? Those BKBs, Shadow, he had time to be able to buy, to be able to get his second one up. And even though GH doesn't even get an RP off, he gets caught by the Ravage and all that. Yeah.
Big stuff.
Huge for Liquid.
And it's one of those moments, too, where, like, if anything happens to go wrong there, like if they're able to break down the tree that Matumbaman is on before that BKB, or even afterwards, it's devastating.
I mean, he tried, like, it was so close. Like, he BKB'd and the Tidehunter 4-step through the tree as it happened.
Matumbaman chasing. DY, they spot him. Sinister Gaze pulling him back in. The RP, though, on the 3! Turning it back around here with the BKB already out. The Boundless Strike, it's a little bit separated here, but they have that Soulbind, keeping 2 of them stuck together as well. But Matumbaman down to about a quarter HP. He doesn't have any more lifesteal coming in from this. Mind Control going to move into position to see if he can help him, but the Sanity Eclipse just gets dropped. And just like that, Liquid lose 3.
The turnaround. They got a 3-man RP, but yeah, I think he skewered them out of that Boundless Strike, which is a little bit awkward, and all of Vici showed up very quickly. Sanities to make sure that the Monkey King dies. He had cheese, but he wasn't able to get it off.
And again, that Wukong's command just on cooldown for another 30 seconds. If you wait that extra bit longer before that fight, it goes bad.
And back the other way.
Right. 3,000
We have this a lot. We have this to happen quite a bit now.
Oh, a good wall drop down there.
Yeah, catches 3.
But still, Vici comfortable standing up here on the high ground, and they vacuum them back in yet again. And it doesn't look like Vici are comfortable sticking around that much longer.
No, not when Tide's at this half HP. That's when you're threatened just getting Dagger dead, even though you have this Frost Shield coming out from the Lich. So be super careful. Mag's respawning.
They're TPing in to the Shrine. Matumbaman just goes into the middle of everybody. The rest of his team is not here yet. He does pop the cheese, though, and able to turn this.
3-man Boundless.
Not bad at all. Paparazzi needs to run. They have found one, and looks like they'll kill off DY as the jump away happens. The rest of Vici Core is trying to escape, and Liquid can't catch him.
I'll catch Shadow on 2 now, right? 3-1 and 2. Look at that net worth, just because these last few moments just... Yep, them being able to buy time and power. Power is a good spell.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
We're going to hit level 20 also. This is the time when Liquid can start catching back up again, as the tier 1 tower is going to fall.
I mean, they're already completely caught back up, right? It's just, it was like as soon as those 2 BKBs come online, like we were mentioning, it was that time. I think it's really fortunate for Liquid that Roche took so long to respawn. Like, it was like one of the longer timers I've seen, and they were just getting close, yeah. Look at that gold lead. It's chunked all the way to 2K. Same thing with the experience.
Oh my god, Paparazzi took so much damage from that cleave. Does look like he's going to be able to walk away, but now it's kind of Vici that are stuck on the back foot of having to push out waves with these heroes and try and pull Liquid around the map. Game feels like it might have gotten a little bit away from them.
Definitely. So Weaver and the OD, yeah, I mean, they're playing pretty excellent in the game, but it's just, right, it's 12-0 on Ori. Paparazzi's 4-1 and 14. They've been having an excellent time, but it's just about this damage. They can't do the damage through the BKBs.
Yeah. And they do have some other big items that can come out soon, possibly. Sheep Stick is on the way for the OD, still a long ways away from it after the Shivas. But we haven't really seen OD get singled out in this fight yet. He still is that sort of monster that you have to battle. And as the BKB charges do get lower from Liquid, that's something that they're going to need to be concerned about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Ori's played incredibly well. His positioning's been super good. It's just so scary, right? If he gets caught in an RP, he's just dead.
Fade. Controlling Matumba Man. Ravage comes out. It's not going to do all that much to Matumba Man. And, well, with that Wukong's command, the chase forward, they're caught in the soul bind. This is looking quite bad for Vici as they lose 2 and just going to need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, now Liquid they got a gold lead. It almost looked like the Ravage hit him through BKB because he got Walrus Punch at the same time, right?
Exactly.
It did look like it for a second. But yeah, that's a Ravage down. Now, I mean, Liquid's they've got pretty much their fighting tools ready. They don't have the Wukongs, which is very, very good with Matu right now, but they've got the RP. And they've been proving that just with the BKBs and without even landing an RP in a fight, they can take the fight. Pretty much a full Abyssal as well now on Shadow, so him being able to single out those targets and Liquid blacking the control that the panel was talking about, now it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have his own way of initiation so that GH can try to find his.
Well, and you know, you've got the sheep stick that's going to be coming out soon-ish on Darkseer also.
Yeah, my control is just Ion Shelling waves. He's 0-7 and 7, but Ion Shell will get you farm.
Do have a 4-man smoke now from Vici. Looks like they're trying to connect there with Paparazzi, but all of Liquid is in the north side of the map. Kind of tough to find the angle. Another one of those wards was placed up on the north side of the map too, for the Tinker wards, but won't find anybody. And they're anticipating somebody coming back to deal with the push, and looks like it's going to be Mind Control, who again is going to be caught and most likely killed off. No, it blinks away, gets out of there.
He seemed to know something was up.
Yeah. Heads up play.
Yeah, Vici's trying to they have to try to start a fight with a number advantage or get the quick initiation. It seems so difficult for them really versus the BKBs, because if they're able to get them off, and they should be able to get those BKBs off on the course of Liquid, the damage is just lacking.
A dire scan. They know exactly what is happening right now. Vici basically just hanging out here. They're going to farm out the camps while Liquid are still in their base.
They know Liquid's all chilling there though, because Vici's had this base ward for the full duration. So it's just watching. It's just watching them. I'm actually very surprised that one did not get dewarded.
Are they going to smoke themselves? If they do underneath the ward, this could be an opportunity for Vici to make a move. Still keeping their eyes on Liquid in their base.
They're just guarding this area, guarding the secret shop from Liquid too.
Yeah. They're like, somebody's got to come here eventually.
Someone has to make the move.
Eventually.
Yeah, but look at these lanes now. It's even more telling for Liquid where Vici's positioned. The top lane is fully pushing in. Mid lane is also fully pushing in.
I mean, they hit that scan on him like 2 minutes ago. They just
and they just keep circling him over and over again.
We're like, are they really just sitting there? But Vici eventually going to TP back to their own base now.
And look at Liquid. Heads up move. They're preparing for someone to go to try to set up to defend this tower. But Vici, they probably know this is happening too. We see the circle drawn. They do.
Yeah. Don't try and hit that D ward right now. Let them set up on Shadow. Does have the 8-second BKB still. One of those daggers shot up onto the high ground, which might have revealed their positioning. And Matumba Man throwing out a Boundless Strike. Liquid now just going to back out as Roche capable of respawning.
Full Hex on my control.
Yep. He was so broke. And
yeah,
now
it's
a short respawn time too.
Of course, yeah, of course. As they get their lanes pushed on. So Ori, I mean, it seems like they really need their own Hex now on the side of Vici. Their disables just feel limited, right? If the BKBs go off, they just don't have the damage, so they need to kill someone from one single instant control, which their instant control would be when he gets that Hex. If they can Hex and then into a Ravage, it would be ideal. But he is still quite a bit away from that on Ori.
Darkseer did just TP down bottom, so if Vici realized that Roche is open, it's going to be a little bit tough for him to get back in time.
They just don't kill it at
Yeah.
They're not the same as a PA. Even if they have all this minus armor like Gush, Bugs, and everything, it's still not the same as a PA with Desolator and Power and a Monkey King hitting it.
Shadow. Spots Yang. Jump in, trying to go on him.
Oof.
That Kraken shell keeps it off. The rest of Vici in position to try and help
Gets the
out. There's
Ravage.
going to be the Ravage. It's going to connect onto 4. The Sanity's Eclipse follow up, but is it going to be enough? They're starting to land a GH for the Ghost Scepter, keeping him alive. Matumba Man walking forward with the BKB and the RP. That's OD caught and in a lot of trouble. They also throw out that Hex onto Yank. He is dead. The vacuum pulls Matumba Man back in. And just like that, Liquid here having a big chance, although Kuro is going to be isolated. But they get the Abyssal Blade. They find the Weaver and blow him up. 90 seconds. No buyback immediately into Roche.
Oh my god, that was like, they got the perfect jump there too from Vici, right? They got the Ravage before the BKB. They killed Shadow immediately, but Shadow just buys back and comes back in.
All right, now the isolation, a second round. Kuro barely living there as Matumba Man takes down DY. Shadow chasing in as well. Ori's hitting an Observer Ward, though, as he tries to just walk away, but in some more trouble. They're buying back on absolutely everybody. They're going to keep alive that Tidehunter for a moment, but he's already used Ravage. Doesn't really bring that much to the team fight. They're going to hit the Shrine. Shadow chasing, trying to kill, seeing if he can bring down Fade. The Snowball save, keeping him alive here. Ori is just laying into them at the rest of this. There's the Hex that comes out, though, and it's not nearly enough damage. It feels like everybody from Vici is dying. 5-man wipe, no
GG.
buyback. Get the hell out of this game.
Well, that escalated rather quickly. Yeah, just a quick, buyback from Shadow. They get the RP. They finally control Ori, and Paparazzi not having buyback. He was dead.
That's nuts. Whew. I mean, it happens in a second. And like you were talking about, the PA, the Magnus, you get those big RPs and everything, and it works out. And also the Abyssal Blade you were talking about is like the big thing that caught the Weaver.
Well, the biggest thing is just like getting that timing, being able to stall to get those BKBs on both. They got both of them having it, right? Both of them got the BKBs. They take a fight, and even though they used like that Shadow BKB a little weird, they were able to stall, re-engage, and yeah, Liquid does it.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a little bit with game number 2. Stick around, more here from Vici and Liquid right after that.